Day 11, Paddle to the Sea 2009. You can probably hear some excitement in my voice. This is the day we make our big push for the sea. We figure it's about 20 miles away. We did about 34 yesterday, so we feel like it's achievable. We got good current. I'll walk out here and let you see that. Isn't that an amazing sight, considering what we had 2 days ago? Lake desolation. But it's really moving along. We're in this bend to the Santee, the lower Santee, probably about 10 miles from Highway 17 bridge, Archibald Rutledge country. Steve, you knew Archibald Rutledge.
Yeah.
What do you remember about him?
Oh, he was about as old as God, and I was younger than the devil. So
Where was that? Where were you?
Archie spent his later years partly in the low country in the cooler months and up in Spartanburg when the weather was hot during the midsummer. So my dad, knowing that Archie was a living storybook, would take us boys over to Aunt Camilla's house. He stayed with Aunt Camilla because Archie had been married to her sister. So we would go over to her house after church on Sunday, and he would put us to work in the yard for a little while, and we would tear up Camilla's flower garden, and she would lovingly come out and tell us what we were doing wrong. And then after that, she would serve us lunch, and then we'd go inside and listen to Archie tell stories. And to us, all those stories were true and bigger than life and a lot of fun. We really enjoyed listening to him carry on about life in the Santee.
So how far downstream did he live, and where did he live?
Archie lived about 10 miles downstream from where we are now, on the Hampton Plantation. He did not spend his early years, he spent his childhood there, and went off to school in his teenage years and became an English professor like John Lane at a high school in the north, somewhere in Pennsylvania. And he returned to the low country to look after his ailing parents and decided that somehow he needed to hang on to the plantation where he had grown up. And plantation is really stretching the word in his time. By then, the rice culture was gone. The plantation was no longer a place where people were planting, but what he did was to make it a preserve. And he did preserve the house itself and some of the grounds. And the state of South Carolina has taken up where he left off and preserved a whole lot of the history of the place.
And we're going to pass downstream probably in a few hours, and we will give Archie a nod, and we will, if one of the two of us knew any of his poetry by heart, we'd quote a little bit of it to him, but we don't, so we'll just think of him fondly. This is John Lane and Steve Patton signing off with Paddle to the Sea 2009. The next time you hear from us, we might have a big blue ocean in front of us.